Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm actually going to follow up on a few stories that I've talked about in some past videos, both of them being in sports, in the sports world. But the first one I don't want to talk about too much because it's still developing, and that is the Deshaun Watson situation. Basically, in case you don't know, he missed out an entire season because of many allegations on sexual assault. In which now the update is that most of them have been dropped, or it's not really criminal. It's more of a civil suit now. It's something that's still kind of weird and foreign to me. I don't know much about law. Ironically enough, my girlfriend's actually an attorney, but she's not the biggest sports person, but she knows a good amount. So if I had her do some little research, she could probably explain it to me better. Worst part is I'm saying all that. She's probably watching this video just shaking her head. But anyway, moving on from that. And then the second one is about the Zion Williamson Pelicans drama, which has kind of been squashed for the most part now, considering now he signed a 5-year max and with no player option, which that part is actually the biggest part. But before we go into that, definitely take the time to subscribe if you're new, like this video if you like it, and then comment in the comment section below. Just tell me what exactly you feel about this, or what you know about these two situations that I am missing, or something like that. But without further ado, here's just my opinions about these two situations. So with the Deshaun Watson situation, again, I don't want to go too much into this because I still think this could develop mainly with the suspension coming down from the NFL and Deshaun Watson and the NFLPA, the Player Association, preparing to sue the NFL with lawsuits regarding all this. So I think this is far from over, even though there is a possibility that he can actually play week one this season, which to me would be strange and kind of undeserving considering that there's still a few of the lawsuits from the women that he allegedly assaulted sexually are still out there. But again, now that he's been traded to Cleveland, who is pretty much a classless organization, they don't really care. It seems like they're so desperate to be relevant and everything like that that they're willing to do anything to become relevant and competitive. To be frank, you're talking about a completely dysfunctional organization where the first time they actually had some sort of success, they backtrack a year, and then instead of recouping and then just kind of fixing within themselves, they kind of look for the biggest, splashiest thing available to get, and then dump Baker Mayfield by the wayside. In which Baker Mayfield did not really help himself in many ways with some of the statements that he has made, some of the actions he's taken. But you could tell that this is a dude that really wanted to do well for the organization, that really wanted to lead the Cleveland Browns to relevance, to be a winning organization, to win the Super Bowl and everything like that. And he put his body on the line to do that this past season, which I think that was the biggest problem. And Cleveland's like, no, we're going to throw you under the bus anyway, just completely backstabbing him and then just shipping him off to Carolina and then just calling it a day. Which, by the way, Carolina got an absolute steal in that trade. And it sucks because being a Saints fan, that means that the Saints have to face him twice a year. But whatever, it's not really relevant to this conversation right now. I think Baker Mayfield's definitely in. Personally, he's in a much better situation, but team-wise, not so much. Carolina is a situation where they're still trying to rebuild on talent that they lost, and they're trying to accumulate and develop talent through the draft. But to me, it just seems like Matt Rule is not the type of coach to lead them that way. Last season, they were supposed to be that team, and I think a lot of it was because of injuries, especially to McCaffrey, that really set them back. And then now, excuse me, it seems like there's no real trust in the head coach within the organization top down, but yet they still wanted to keep him. Actually, really, they kind of need to keep him because they gave him a big contract, even though he kind of didn't deserve it because he didn't prove anything on the NFL level. It was in the college level, but again, that's to the side. So I might have to make another follow-up video once all of this is resolved, and this might take another season or maybe even longer for this to become resolved because of all the lawsuits that I think are still coming, mainly between the NFL and the Player Association, and then obviously depending on what the suspension ends up being. But anyway, I want to move on from that and then quickly talk about the Pelicans and Zion Williamson drama, which I think is pretty much squashed because again, I'm a big believer that actions speak much louder than words. And so him signing that 5-year extension is basically all tell signs that okay, he sold into the organization. He saw what happened this past season, even when half of the season he was in Portland rehabbing, showing that he didn't really trust the medical staff. Yet he was willing to come back, be with the team at the end of the season, see what transpired, and you can tell that when he was on the sidelines and everything like that, he was just so happy to be there, so joyful that even though the record doesn't show it, the way they were playing and how much they care and cheered for each other, it really had an effect on Zion Williamson, and it made him kind of give a damn. And and I think it really motivated him to train better, to train and really put his mind to it that how much training and keeping care of your body really helps you, and how being you can't play basketball to be in shape. You have to be in shape to play basketball. I don't think he really realized that until he came back. And so from what I've heard, he's been training, he's been working hard and everything like that. He's been doing all the right things since he came back to do well for himself and for the team. As long as he stays healthy, and again, that's a huge if right now, okay? As long as he stays healthy, he is going to be lethal. And by the way, this is a dude that averaged about 27 points a game, in which he shot 61% from the field, and I think it was actually 61% in at the like near the rim in the paint, which is the most dominant statistic you can even think of. It was even better than Shaq, and that was mainly Shaq's game throughout his entire career. And Zion Williamson did it when he was like 19, 20 years old, and he's only getting better now. So this is a huge deal. And yes, it is a big risk for the Pelicans because they're only basing it off of 1 year statistic, but I think it's a valid risk to take considering now he's invested in the team and he's going out into the community. The whole family lives in New Orleans now. So you could tell that him and his family, who has been in his ear, they're really sold with the organization right now. And I think most of that really goes to Willie Green, not so much David Griffin. I have to say that because this is the third coach since David Griffin came in, and the actions from the other two previous head coaches frustrated Zion Williamson. It frustrated really everyone in the organization, and it's like everyone just kind of tolerated it because, well, they're the head coach. They have to do their jobs and be as professional as they can about it. But now Willie Green just gave this team a different vibe, and then the success that they had in the second half of the season really helped. Having a leader like CJ McCollum being there has really helped. I think the main thing was when he was doing an interview, I believe it was on NBA TV, and he said that he was not contacted by Zion Williamson. I think this was a week after he was traded to New Orleans. It sent huge signals around the organization and really throughout the entire league. Like, wait, what's going on with Zion Williamson? And it forced Zion Williamson to finally contact CJ McCollum to welcome him to New Orleans. And then I think they've definitely talked here and there to help Zion Williamson, for a lack of better term, just become a better professional. At this point, I just feel like I'm kind of talking out of my behind right now and kind of more like a homer instead of being more objective about this. But again, especially with superstar talents playing in small market teams, these things do matter. And and again, as a Pelicans fan, I really saw this just a few years ago with the whole Anthony Davis fiasco. You know, when you don't have a good head coach to kind of keep him up straight mentally, physically, and everything like that, and then you don't have good surroundings around him to kind of keep him motivated and whatnot. And this really happened with Anthony Davis. Right, it was really the last couple seasons he was in New Orleans, and he was just kind of sick of it, and he just wanted to find an easy out to the best way out, I should say, to basically say, okay, I'm not signing the extension and whatnot. But I think that's it for this game. I hope you enjoy the gameplay. I hope you enjoy the commentary. It's a little bit of a short update and everything like that. But again, I wanted to do some follow ups because there has been a lot of stuff that really did transpire. And I know you guys definitely wanted to hear how I felt about those things. So I hope you enjoyed this gameplay. Again, like if you like this video, and subscribe if you're new. And please let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. Peace.